right, so get ready because today we're going to be talking about leadership.
Oh, leadership.
Yeah,
Ooh.
leadership from a pretty unexpected source.
All right, I'm intrigued.
We're talking about Genghis Khan.
Genghis Khan. Wow.
I know.
That's
What could a brutal conqueror possibly have to teach us about like leading a team or just, navigating life of the 21st century?
Yeah, it's funny you should mention that because a lot of people, when they think of Genghis Khan, all they think about is, the brutality, the conquering.
Right.
But there's so much more to this guy.
Yeah.
And we're going to be diving into some sources today that reveal quite a lot about his rise to power and actually how these strategies are incredibly relevant even for us today.
Yeah, I think that's what's so interesting about this.
Yeah.
Is like we think of him as this, ancient historical figure, but it turns out
Timeless.
there's a lot we can learn.
Absolutely. I mean, it's incredible how his story, even centuries later, offers these insights into leadership that are just timeless. And he wasn't just about brute force. He was so skilled at uniting people, get them to buy into his vision and ultimately building one of the largest empires the world has ever seen.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to kind of try to unpack today, like how he did it and what we can learn from it.
Absolutely.
And so to start, I think we have to go back to the beginning with Genghis Khan's early life.
Yeah.
Which was,
to put it mildly, a little rough.
A little rough. That's one way to put it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about a guy who his father was murdered, his family was betrayed.
Yeah.
And he was essentially left for dead.
Yeah, like movie stuff.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's the stuff of legends, but this was his reality.
Yeah.
And it's actually right here in this really difficult upbringing
Yeah.
that we see the first leadership lesson emerge. Resilience.
Yes. Resilience.
It's because most people would just crumble in the face of those kinds of challenges.
Yeah, give up. But he used those setbacks to fuel his ambition. And it forged in him this incredible grit and determination that would serve him well throughout his life. And, it's something to think about for all of us.
Yeah.
How many of us give up on our goals at the first sign of difficulty?
Oh, yeah, I know. I've been guilty of that.
Yeah.
Plenty of times.
It's so easy to get discouraged.
Yeah.
But his story is just this powerful reminder that setbacks are inevitable. They're going to happen. It's really how we respond to them that defines us.
Yeah, so he didn't let these setbacks define him.
No.
He was able to overcome them.
Absolutely. And he didn't just survive, he thrived. I mean, one of his most impressive feats was uniting the warring Mongol tribes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, could you imagine
It's mind-boggling.
trying to get all of these groups who've been fighting each other for generations?
Yeah, for generations.
To work together. Like, it's impossible.
It seems impossible. Right.
Yeah.
It would be like herding cats, as they say. But he did it. He pulled it off.
So how did he do it? How did he get them all on the same page?
Well, he gave them something bigger to believe in.
Okay.
He articulated this really compelling vision of a united and powerful Mongol nation.
Okay, so it wasn't just about, bossing them around.
No.
It was about, getting them to buy into something.
Exactly. He understood the power of a common goal, something that could transcend their individual differences and inspire them to work together towards something extraordinary.
It's like a shared vision.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a strategy that we can still use today, whether you're leading a team at work, heading up a community project, or even just trying to wrangle your family into agreeing on where to go for vacation.
Right. Get everyone on board.
Exactly. It's about inspiring people, giving them a sense of purpose, making them feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got resilience and vision.
Yeah.
But, the guy built an empire.
He did.
There's got to be more to the story.
Oh, there's so much more. And one of the most fascinating things about Genghis Khan was his ability to adapt and innovate.
Oh, interesting.
He was a master strategist on the battlefield,
Okay.
constantly analyzing his opponents and finding ways to outsmart them. He used psychological warfare, lightning-fast attacks, and he was even known to feign retreats to lure his enemies into traps.
Oh, wow. That's sneaky.
Oh, he was incredibly cunning and strategic.
Yeah.
And it's something that I think we can all relate to because, in a way, we face our own battlefields every day, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Whether it's a challenging project at work, a personal obstacle we need to overcome, or just navigating the ever-changing landscape of life.
Yeah, like life can throw some curveballs.
It certainly does, and that's where Genghis Khan's adaptability comes in. He teaches us that rigidity is the enemy of progress.
Okay.
We need to be willing to adjust our plans, embrace new ideas, and find creative solutions to the challenges that inevitably arise.
So, be more flexible.
Exactly. Think about it. How many times have you clung to a plan that clearly wasn't working?
Oh, I'm sure we've all done that.
We've all been there. We get attached to our ideas, but sometimes you have to be willing to let go and pivot
Right.
and embrace something new.
Yeah. So he was basically saying, don't be afraid to like change things up.
Exactly. Sticking to a plan when the situation is screaming for a change, that's a recipe for disaster. And his story really shows us that it's those who are willing to adapt and evolve who ultimately succeed.
I love that. And I think that's something that we can all apply to our
Well,
lives
absolutely.
in so many different ways.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got resilience, vision, adaptability.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But he built an empire.
He built an empire.
Like, that takes more than just one person, right?
It does.
How did he build such a fiercely loyal and capable team?
Well, this is where his approach to leadership really stands out and I think offers a powerful lesson for all of us. Genghis Khan was a firm believer in meritocracy.
Meritocracy. Interesting.
He didn't care about your family background or your social status. He promoted people based on their skills, their loyalty, and their ability to get things done.
So basically, forget who your daddy was.
Exactly.
It's all about what you can actually bring to the table.
Precisely. What can you contribute?
That's pretty revolutionary.
It was revolutionary, especially for that time period. Think about it. Back then, most societies were very hierarchical.
Right. It was all about like who you were related to.
Yeah, who you were born to. But he broke that mold.
Wow.
And it's something that we can all learn from today. Think about the teams you're a part of. Are they built on talent and merit? Or are there other factors at play? Are you recognizing and rewarding the contributions of everyone on your team regardless of their background?
That's a really good point. And it's something that, I think a lot of leaders today could really benefit from thinking about.
Absolutely. It's about creating a culture where everyone feels valued and empowered to contribute their best. And when you do that, you unleash this incredible potential.
Yeah.
And that's something that he really understood by creating that environment where talent was recognized and rewarded. He built a team that was not only capable, but incredibly loyal.
Okay, so we've got resilience, vision, adaptability, and this focus on meritocracy.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Is there anything else we can learn from this unexpected leadership guru?
Well, there's one more crucial element that we need to talk about, and it's something that often gets overlooked, but it's really important. The Yasa Code.
The Yasa Code. What's that?
It was basically a legal code that he established
Okay.
to maintain order and unity across his vast empire. Yeah, so it was this legal code that he used to kind of maintain order and unity across this vast empire that he was building.
So a legal code, I mean, it sounds a bit dry,
Right.
but I'm guessing there's a leadership lesson somewhere hidden in there.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the Yasa Code was really pretty groundbreaking for its time. It covered everything from military discipline to protecting travelers and merchants. It even promoted religious freedom,
Well,
which was unheard of.
religious freedom in the 12th century.
Pretty radical.
That's surprising.
It really was. So it wasn't just about, punishing people. It was about creating a system that worked. And I think for us today, what's interesting is that he understood that even the largest, most powerful empire couldn't function effectively without a clear set of rules and expectations.
Right.
People need to feel like they're being treated justly and that there's a system in place to protect their rights.
So like rules of the road.
Exactly. It's like a company culture today. You need clear guidelines and values to guide people's behavior. And make sure everyone is on the same page.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, like having those shared expectations, I think, can definitely prevent conflict.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so he had this Yasa Code, which was basically like his framework
Yeah.
for how he was going to operate this empire. But how does that translate into like an actual leadership lesson for us today?
Well, it really speaks to the importance of clear communication and setting expectations.
Okay.
Think about it. Have you ever been part of a team where the goals were vague or the rules were constantly changing?
Yeah.
I mean, it's chaos. It's confusing.
It's really frustrating.
Totally. And so Genghis Khan, I think he understood that to build a truly successful and cohesive team, everyone needs to be clear on what their role is, what their responsibilities are,
Right.
and the overall objectives they're working towards.
Okay, so like no matter what you're leading a team or managing a project or just trying to get your family organized,
Even your family.
yeah, it all comes down to effective communication.
It really does.
Being able to like articulate your vision, set clear expectations,
Uh-huh.
create a system that everyone understands.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that is a lesson that is as relevant today as it was back then.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the resilience, the vision, the adaptability,
Right.
this idea of meritocracy, the importance of clear communication.
Yep.
But his empire was vast.
I mean,
He
massive.
couldn't have been everywhere at once, micromanaging every little detail.
No, he couldn't.
So how did he actually manage to, like, keep everything running smoothly?
He was a master delegator.
Oh, what?
He knew how to identify talented individuals, give them the authority they needed, and
Right.
trust them to get the job done.
Trust is a big one.
It really is.
Yeah.
He empowered his generals to make decisions in the field.
So he wasn't, like, hovering.
No micromanaging.
Okay.
He fostered this culture of trust and accountability.
I feel like that's something that a lot of leaders today struggle with, is that idea of, like, letting go
Yeah.
and trusting your team.
Yeah, it's so easy to get caught up in wanting to control everything right.
Totally.
But it can lead to burnout and
Yeah.
actually stifle creativity.
Hmm.
So Genghis Khan understood that to be a truly effective leader,
Yeah.
you have to be willing to let go,
Yeah.
to give others the space to shine.
Mm.
By empowering his team, he was able to leverage their skills and talents to really achieve extraordinary results.
It's like you don't have to be the expert in everything, right?
Exactly.
Like you can surround yourself with talented people,
Right.
trust them to do what they do best.
And that trust goes both ways.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, because by delegating effectively,
Mm.
he built a team that was not only incredibly capable, but they were fiercely loyal.
Wow.
They knew he had their back,
Okay.
and he trusted them to make the right calls.
So it's not just about freeing up your time.
Yeah.
It's really about empowering your team.
Absolutely. And that's something he truly understood.
But it's got to be more than just like handing off a task
Right.
and being like, good luck.
Right, exactly. There's an art to delegation.
Yeah.
And he didn't just throw his generals into the deep end
Yeah.
without any guidance.
Right.
He provided very clear instructions.
Okay.
He set those expectations
Mm-hmm.
and made sure they had the resources they needed to succeed.
So there's support,
The guidance.
guidance, but also accountability.
Accountability, that's the key.
Okay.
It's a balance, but it's essential for effective delegation.
Right.
And that's something it seems he really mastered.
Wow. Okay, so we've talked about resilience, vision, adaptability, meritocracy, the importance of clear communication,
Mm-hmm.
and now the art of delegation.
Yes.
But there's actually one more element of Genghis Khan's leadership that I think is worth pointing out. Something that I think sometimes gets overlooked, but it's absolutely crucial.
I
The
mean,
inclusivity.
oh, that's an interesting point. And it's so relevant. It's
Yeah.
easy to forget that he built this massive empire
Right.
by uniting all these different tribes and cultures.
Yeah.
And he wasn't afraid to embrace different perspectives and ideas.
Okay.
He understood that diversity wasn't a weakness, it was a strength.
Yeah. And I think that's something that's especially relevant today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we live in such an interconnected world, and the ability to work with people from all different backgrounds is just, it's essential for success.
Totally. And it's more important than ever.
It is. And so Genghis Khan's approach, I think it offers these valuable lessons for us today because he didn't just tolerate diversity,
Mhm.
he actively sought it out.
Oh, wow. He recognized that different cultures and perspectives could bring new ideas and solutions to the table.
So being open to those different viewpoints.
Yes, being open to learning from others
Mm-hmm.
and incorporating their knowledge and skills into his own leadership style.
So it's really about creating a culture where everyone feels welcome.
Welcome and respected.
Yeah, regardless of their background.
Regardless of their background. And it's such a critical lesson for leaders today in a globalized world, the ability to build bridges,
Yeah,
work across cultures. It's crucial.
totally.
Yeah.
So, wow, we've covered a lot of ground here
We have.
in our deep dive into the leadership secrets of Genghis Khan.
It's amazing to think that someone from the 12th century
Right.
can still teach us so much about leadership today.
And I think it's so cool that he wasn't just a theoretical leader, right?
Right.
He put these principles into practice
He did.
and achieved these incredible results.
I mean, the guy built an empire.
Yeah, he walked the walk.
He did. He was the ultimate proof of concept. I love it.
He didn't just talk about leadership, he lived it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes his story so compelling.
Mm-hmm.
It shows us that these principles aren't just some, abstract ideas.
Yeah.
They can be applied in the
Yeah.
real world to achieve really remarkable things.
So as we're wrapping up this deep dive into the leadership secrets of Genghis Khan,
Yeah.
what is like the one key takeaway you want to leave our listeners with?
I think it comes down to this. Leadership is not about your title or your position.
Okay.
It's about your ability to inspire others, create a shared vision,
Hmm.
empower people to achieve their full potential.
I love that.
It's about creating something bigger than yourself, something that leaves a lasting impact.
Yeah.
So whether you're leading a team, a project, or even just your own life, remember these lessons we've uncovered today. Embrace challenges as opportunities for growth.
Hmm.
Communicate your vision clearly and consistently.
Yeah.
Foster that culture of inclusivity and respect, and never underestimate the power of trust and delegation.
Such great advice.
Yeah.
And for our listeners out there, we hope this deep dive has given you some new insights and inspiration for your own leadership journey.
You don't need to conquer an empire to be a great leader. Just
Okay.
embrace these timeless principles that made Genghis Khan such a transformative figure.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this epic adventure
Yeah, it's been fun.
through time and leadership.
Absolutely.
We'll catch you next time on the deep dive.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible, isn't it? Like how someone from so long ago can still be so relevant to us today.
It really is. And I think, it really speaks to the timelessness of these principles, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter if you're leading an army or a company or even just your own life.
Mm.
These core concepts, resilience, vision, adaptability, inclusivity,
Hmm.
they're just as relevant today as they were back then.
Yeah, and you know what I think is so cool is that Genghis Khan wasn't just some like theoretical leader, right?
Mm.
He put these principles into practice
He did.
and he achieved amazing results. I mean, the guy built an empire.
I mean, come on.
Talk about walking the walk.
Yeah, exactly.
He was the ultimate proof of concept.
I love that.
He didn't just talk about leadership, he lived it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I think, why his story is so powerful.
Yeah.
It shows us that these principles aren't just these abstract ideas. They can actually be used in the real world to achieve amazing things.
So as we're wrapping up our deep dive into the leadership secrets of Genghis Khan,
Yeah.
what's the one key takeaway you want to leave our listeners with?
I think it boils down to this. Leadership is not about your title or your position.
Okay.
It's about your ability to inspire others to create a shared vision and empower people to achieve their full potential.
It's about creating something bigger than yourself.
Exactly. Something
Yeah.
that leaves a lasting impact.
I love it.
Yeah, so whether you're leading a team or a project or even just your own life, remember the lessons we've talked about today. Embrace challenges.
Mm.
See them as opportunities for growth. Communicate your vision clearly and consistently build a culture of inclusivity and respect.
Mm.
And never underestimate the power of trust and delegation.
Such great advice.
Yes.
And for our listeners out there, we hope this deep dive has given you some new insights and inspiration for your own leadership journey.
You don't need to conquer an empire to be a great leader.
Right.
Just embrace these timeless principles that made Genghis Khan such a transformative figure.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us on this epic adventure through time and leadership.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll catch you next time on The Deep Dive.